Then I took a smidge and applied it down there.
This One's Wife. Paltrow and Markle. Joint video explained. Hello, I'm HG Tudor. You may well be aware of a short video that was posted by Gwyneth Paltrow and This One's Wife to their respective Instagram pages, which shows them together. Yes. What's going on? It was suggested that there was some kind of feud between them. Was the feud actually manufactured? Well, I'm going to break down what's going on so you can understand why they came together in a short video. Gwyneth Paltrow and This One's Wife are both narcissists, and they come from the same sub-school. What does this mean? Well, as you ought to understand by now, that means that for both of them, whenever they're dealing with another person, which includes another narcissist, they need to assert control over other people, nullify perceived threats to control, potentially draw fuel from people by way of their reactions, utilize character trait acquisition, and get hold of residual benefits. They both operate in a similar fashion with regard to the pursuit of the prime aims. There are some differences, however, between them. Paltrow has some actual talent with regard to acting, something which you can see in the video. Furthermore, her facade operates far better than that of This One's Wife. It's also the case that Paltrow is subjected to less scrutiny than This One's Wife, meaning that her facade holds up far more often than that of This One's Wife. Paltrow also has some business acumen, unlike This One's Wife. Do understand, Gwyneth Paltrow does not like This One's Wife. This isn't a genuine friendship that has suddenly transpired. This isn't two birds of a feather getting together and thinking, we're now BFFs. Paltrow doesn't like This One's Wife. She regards her as untalented, a Janey-come-lately who has sought to elbow her way into the Hollywood A-list, and Paltrow doesn't like that. She doesn't even regard her as competition. She sees her for what she is, a cable actress who got lucky marrying Prince Harry. This dislike that Paltrow has for This One's Wife has appeared on numerous occasions previously. First of all, there was a hosting of the dinner party, whereby she demonstrated that she could actually get big hitters to turn up at her dinner parties, that she was able to demonstrate that she could partnership with an appropriate and expensive Italian label. There were little digs at This One's Wife with regard to it taking place under the lemon trees, as this was all around the time that This One's Wife was sending out her scam jam in the bowl full of lemons. There was the fact that This One's Wife claimed to have Katy Perry attend a party. Gwyneth Paltrow showed actual pictures of her and Katy Perry going for a hike. Recently, Paltrow has said, "She seems lovely, but I don't know her." Backhanded compliment. And there was the recent breakfast video, which clearly took the piss out of This One's Wife, but was done with the plausible deniability of the narcissist. You see, Gwyneth Paltrow operates a facade. This facade is, I'm a family person. I'm kind. I'm empathic. I'm a guru that's into wellness and health. I don't poo. Rose petals come out of my bottom. My vagina always smells fragrant because of the green eggs that I pop up there. Indeed, buy my candle that smells of my foo-foo, it's wonderful. That is the facade that she puts by virtue of her narcissism, yet she is an unpleasant individual behind the scenes. She's elbowed people out of the way to ensure that she's got roles. She was a Harvey Weinstein supporter. And you only have to look at what she's produced, namely her daughter Apple, who, boom boom, that apple has not fallen far from the tree with regard to her behaviours to see that the environment in which Apple has been raised and the genetic predisposition has been passed on to her to cause her to be a version of her mother. Gwyneth Paltrow is the type of woman whereby if there was a photo shoot of a group of you, when people were looking the other way, she would dig you in the ribs, and as you're gasping for breath and there's tears in your eyes, she will give you a shove so that you are pushed into the side, into the wings, and then she takes your place in the photo shoot. And then as everybody looks back, she's all smiles, fragrance and light as if nothing has happened. This is exactly how she behaves in relation to this one's wife. Word breaks that there's some kind of feud between them, the battle of the breakfasts. There isn't any actual feud, because Paltrow isn't that bothered about this one's wife, but enjoys taking occasional digs at her. But when this starts to do the rounds in the media, this conflicts with the image that Gwyneth Paltrow wants to portray of friend to all, guru, into wellness and health, all-round decent person. She doesn't want to be seen as the mean girl because it threatens her facade and thus is a threat to her control. She's the individual that will throw shade at you when you're not looking or behind your back, and then will act like she's your friend for life to your face. Accordingly, the suggestion that there was some kind of feud between this one's wife and Gwyneth Paltrow threatened her facade. So this happened.
I genuinely do not understand this at all whatsoever. Do you understand this?
The video, which Gwyneth Paltrow posted to her Instagram, utilisation of social media for the purposes of assertion of control and drawing of fuel, and this one's wife has done similar, has her undertaking an Instagram Q&A. She took a number of different questions, and one of them was, are you comprehending the this one's wife beef that social media says you two have? Now, this was amongst lots of questions appertaining to her business and such like. This question is a threat to control because it suggests that she's got a feud going on with this one's wife, that Gwyneth Paltrow is somebody that gets into feuds, and that contradicts the facade that she uses. Therefore, Gwyneth Paltrow's narcissism needs this to be nullified, and therefore she utilises denial, which is the first line of the twin lines of the narcissistic defence. I cannot understand this, genuinely, I cannot understand this at all. I can't understand it whatsoever. And then she turns the camera to reveal it's this one's wife sat there. Accordingly, what was the motivator for the creation of this video? And I'll talk more about this one's wife's reaction in a moment. The motivator, naturally, is their narcissism. Gwyneth Paltrow wants to nullify the threat to control that is posed by the suggestion that she's not very nice and she's involved in a feud. She wants to draw fuel from people's reactions. She wants to maintain her facade, which is a residual benefit. So her narcissism requires her to pour cold water on the suggestion that there is some kind of beef between the two. Now, there is no actual beef between the two because this one's wife would love to be like Gwyneth Paltrow. She would love to emulate her. And being involved in this video is several Christmases come at once for this one's wife. More about that in a moment. For Gwyneth Paltrow, she regards this one's wife as an irritation, as I've mentioned previously, but what she can't have is her facade being damaged. And it's all right for her to occasionally cock a snoop subtly, with plausible deniability, towards this one's wife. But once it gathers momentum to suggest that there is some kind of beef taking place, Gwyneth Paltrow can't have that. And therefore, her narcissism needs to nullify that threat to control, draw fuel, and continue to manage the facade. From this one's wife's perspective, she wants this video to be created not because she's particularly bothered about pouring scorn on there being some kind of beef. although that still is of reasonable importance to her because she similarly operates a facade of being a kind and pleasant person. But what matters more to her is that such a video gives her increased leverage by way of asserting control over an audience, drawing fuel from that audience to say, oh, look, she's friends with Gwyneth Paltrow now, isn't she wonderful? And the residual benefit of access to a genuine A-lister that she can be seen with. Now, understand, in the world of this one's wife, she now believes, driven by her magical thinking, that her and Gwyneth Paltrow are firm, total friends. Paltrow isn't her friend. Paltrow doesn't give a shit about her. Paltrow is using her. Nevertheless, this one's wife, driven by her deluded magical thinking, now believes that they are firm friends, that she can keep popping round to see Paltrow, that they'll do collabs together, that she will provide her with information. Who knows? Might it be that she even appears on the podcast? Now, that's the motivator for them to create this video. It's driven by their narcissism. But there's also the connection that Gwyneth Paltrow is friends with Nicole Avant, who is married to Ted Sarandos, the Netflix CEO. And furthermore, that Paltrow and this one's wife are clients of the agency WME. So it's easy for them to be connected to make this happen. Accordingly, that is what has actually gone on here. And typical of the narcissist that is Gwyneth Paltrow, her compartmentalization allows her to throw shade, to devalue this one's wife in a subtle fashion with plausible deniability, and then cause her to act like nothing has happened, to put out a video of this nature. Because of the black and white thinking of the narcissist can love you at 9 a.m. and hate you at 9:10 a.m. and love you again at 9:20 a.m. and see no inconsistency in such behaviour. And in these circumstances, all that has happened is this isn't the beginning of some beautiful friendship. This isn't the case that Gwyneth Paltrow wasn't taking the piss previously. She was. This is the self-serving behaviour of a pair of narcissists, sticking together at this point because it suits them both to do so. For Gwyneth Paltrow to nullify the threat to the facade that the suggestion is that she's involved in some beef and she isn't a pleasant person. She doesn't want that to be her image, so she needs to squash that post-haste. For this one's wife, it's an opportunity for her to actually be seen with a genuine A-lister, something that her narcissism craves her to achieve, and she jumps at the opportunity to do so. In the next video, I'm going to be considering the reaction of this one's wife, what it means for her, and where this is going to lead to. Join me there.